Welcome to another Book Talk with Tracy. I'm Tracy Krause, and this is Book Talk, where I talk about books and other things, my own or other people's. Today I wanted to do something just slightly different and talk about publishing and some of the different options for authors these days, and my own journey in terms of publishing, because I've had an agent represent me. I've signed several, maybe 14 or more traditional contracts. So I've worked with traditional publishing houses. I even used a vanity press once, which I'll talk a little bit more about what that means. And I have also done some self-publishing myself using KDP or Ingram Spark. So I guess in a way I'm a hybrid author, because I've kind of done it all. And I have, a few years of experience now within this whole realm of being an author and publishing and the different ways to go about that. I guess what really spurred me on to talk about this today is the fact that two of my own books just recently reverted back to me. So for those who don't know, when you sign a traditional contract, and even sometimes with other publishers like a vanity press, you sign a contract. You basically are giving them the right to publish your work and to distribute your work, and you don't have the right to change that or to use it in any other way other than for promotional purposes and things like that. So it's kind of one of those things that you need to read the contracts very carefully when you sign with anyone. And of course, signing with a traditional publisher is a really wonderful thing. I've done it lots of times. But the world has really changed a lot in the last 14 years anyway, since I've been doing that, since I've had my first book published in 2009. And signed my first contract in 2008. So things have really changed. And let me just give you a little bit of background in that. So, my first contract with a traditional publisher, what that means is you don't pay for anything. Like if you're signing a contract with someone and they're telling you, but you also have to pay for editing. You also have to pay for this. Oh, we'll only charge you so and so for this. That's not a traditional contract. That's a fee for services contract, sometimes called a vanity press. And there are some really good publishers out there who do that and who are reputable. But you have to be very wary, because oftentimes what happens is they will take your money and they will publish your book. But in the end, you might not be happy with the product. You won't be able to go back and make any kind of changes without paying more money. And I think it's why, unfortunately, at first, certainly with a lot of self-publishing, there was, some substandard work out there, if I can just be really blunt. So with a traditional publisher, you're signing a contract with them, and it's not costing you anything. They're taking on the risk of publishing your work, including all of the money that it takes to pay for their editing staff and for their artists who are creating the cover and for people who are writing the copy, which is, what's on the back cover. They're doing the distribution, and they're doing some marketing. Well, marketing has also changed. I think unless you're very fortunate to get with the really big publishing houses, most authors are doing a lot of their own marketing, and that's just reality. In any case, things have really changed. And so, I have done a lot of contracts, and certainly all of my plays are with traditional publishers, and it's wonderful. And I just get paid a royalty, and including performance royalties, and I don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of freedom in terms of the stress level is down when you do work with a traditional publisher. And the other thing is you can usually be assured of a quality product. So I've been fortunate to do that, as I said. And I've had various contracts, some of them not paying very well, a very small royalty, to others that, weren't bad. I've also worked with an agent. So usually with most traditional publishers, especially larger houses, they won't take unsolicited manuscripts or work if you don't have someone representing you. So back several years ago now, I had an agent. His name was Steve Hudson, really nice fellow from Los Angeles, and he represented me with my book, Wind Over Marshdale. And so he took that manuscript on and he shopped it around, and he in fact found me a really nice deal with a small press called Estrella Press. So Wind Over Marshdale came out in 2012 with Estrella Press, and then 2 years later, Lone Wolf, the sequel, so it came out in 2014, and I was super happy with them. I mean, some of my other contracts, when the contract ran out after 7 years, a couple of them, I was happy to republish those myself because I hadn't had the kind of control that I wanted. And, if I wanted to make changes, it was really difficult. But I loved Estrella Press and Stephanie Griffin, and she changed her company's name to Clean Reads. She just treated her authors like a family. Yes, we had to do a lot of our own marketing, but you knew that there were other people with you that, you could work on events together and things. And so it was just very supportive, and a pretty good royalty rate too, really, for working with a publisher. So I was very happy with them, and I had no intentions of ever republishing either one of those books myself if and when the contracts came up. In fact, my contracts did come up, and I said, I don't want to leave you. You just stick with me. And she's like, okay. So, I was happy with them. Well, unfortunately, because of the changing times, she did have to shut down her company, and very graciously, she reached out to all of her authors. I think there's 400 or more people working with her in her company at that time, and said, I'm shutting it down, and so I'm giving you back your work. I'm giving you back the rights to your work. And included in that, we could get the cover art if we wanted to and things. So this all happened very unexpectedly for me in early 2022. So I'm not sure when you're watching this, but that's when that occurred. And I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't really want it to happen. And in fact, I hadn't made plans for that year that was going to be something on my plate to have to republish this work. So I kind of just let it slide. And yes, I got the rights back and everything, and it was on the back of my mind, like, yeah, I got to republish those things and whatever. Well, unfortunately, recently, like 10 days ago or something, I checked, and here, like, the ebooks had come down. I lost all of my reviews. For Lone Wolf anyways, because it was never published as a paperback. The paperback version was still up with its reviews. I think there's 40 reviews or something, but it's like, I got to get at this. Like, I need to get these republished right now because I need to link the new versions to the old versions in order for those reviews to carry through. So I was very busy actually this last week, I guess, doing that, which is what spurred on, me talking about this week for Booktalk. Because, I realized that time was of the essence, and I shouldn't have put it off as long as I did. So I'm very pleased to say that both Wind Over Marshdale and Lone Wolf are once again available in both ebook, and Wind Over Marshdale is available as a paperback. I am hoping that I can still get those reviews attached. If not, I'd really love it if you would go and find the new version and leave a rating or a review. But in any case, it's very interesting as an author to have to weigh these things nowadays, especially as a small author like myself who relies on, doing self-publishing, working with small presses, and kind of juggling all of those things at the same time. So, it's been a very interesting ride for me because, like I said, I've kind of done it all. I've had an agent. I've done the traditional thing. I've even used a vanity press once. Wouldn't recommend doing that again. And then I jumped in with both feet when my first book reverted back to me, and I started republishing my own work as the rights reverted. And I'm finding that I really like that freedom. I think nowadays there is no right answer for authors. So I just want to say that, at one time there was a lot of stigma about self-publishing. And I think that's because there was a lot of substandard work that wasn't quality. But, authors are getting smarter. They're becoming more savvy. And certainly if you are thinking, if you're a writer and thinking about publishing your own work, please, please, please have it edited. You need professional eyes. You need someone else's eyes other than your own. And look at things like the cover copy and the cover itself. I mean, we can't all be good at everything. So you have to pick and choose the things that you want to pay for yourself and invest in. But it's a wonderful time to be an author. There's a lot of freedom to do things yourself and to enter that marketplace where, probably you wouldn't have been able to do that several years ago. The downside, of course, is there's a whole sea of other people doing it too. So there's a lot more competition. But anyways, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, about my own journey and how, life keeps changing as an author. The marketplace changes, how we do things changes. I mean, my goodness, in the last 15 years since I signed my first contract, I just can't even believe how things have changed. And I'm sure they're going to keep on changing. So that's it for now. I do have more than 30 titles out there, as I said. You don't care how they're published, right? I don't think readers care. As long as they're getting a good book, right? They don't care. Did you publish it yourself or did someone else do it for you? The point is, there's good books out there. Please check out my website, tracykraus.com, where you can see all of my novels, my plays, my nonfiction and devotional books, and even one illustrated children's book. I'd love it if you'd pop over. And it's been great talking to you today.